Hey everybody, this is Anthony and welcome to another episode of VR Game Rankings Daily Vlog Series. We are now at episode 17. It is Tuesday, October 24th, and guess what? I don't have a bunch of incredible news stories for you. It's kind of weird. Typically on Tuesday, it is a big news day, but don't have a whole bunch of news for you today. But we do have a few minor things that we can get into, and so let's just go ahead and see how it all works out. Okay, so the very first story I've got for you is there is a Steam sale that is coming this Thursday. I don't know when this was leaked exactly, but somebody figured out when some of the next Steam sales are coming, and this Thursday on the 26th we got a new Steam sale. This is going to be kind of like a Halloween type sale, so it might feature mostly horror games, mostly thriller type games. So I don't know if we're going to see sales across the board, but if you were looking to buy one of the more expensive games out there, maybe you want to hold off for just a couple of days and see if it has a discount this Thursday. Why not, you know? And so I tried to think myself, like what games would I personally want to pick up on a Steam sale? And one of the things I have to tell you guys is, as somebody that is trying to do reviews, and I'm running this website, VR Game Rankings, I'm supposed to review games, I'm supposed to write articles about games, preview games, all of that sort of thing. And so I'm kind of in this situation where I'm always looking ahead. I'm looking towards new games or games that have just been released that I don't have a review for yet. Like right now I want to get far enough in Heart of the Emberstone to be able to review it. Same thing with Talos Principle. Same thing with the Invisible Hours on PlayStation VR. I still haven't reviewed the Invisible Hours, and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later. I've had some problems with that. But I'm always kind of looking forward, you know, always looking to the next game, and there's so many games that are constantly coming at all times that rather than spend $10 on some game that came out 5 months ago, or spend $15 on some game that came out 8 months ago, or $20 on a game that came out last year, like every time I think about that, it just seems like a bad idea, because I need that money to go towards maybe a brand new game that I'm not going to get a key for, that I really need to cover anyway. And so that's kind of been my thought process. And I know that's not the regular consumer. If I was a regular consumer, I wouldn't be worried about all of that. And I would simply play all the games that I want to play. I'd take my time with games, and I wouldn't really feel this need to always rush to newer games. But I'm in a different kind of a situation, and I have to deal with this. Still, I went ahead and I took a look at our top 100 HTC Vive games, which has been updated, actually. A brand new update of the HTC Vive top 100 list. A bunch of games rising way up the charts, some games falling way down the charts. You just never know. You know, sometimes with these top 100 rankings, I can't really dictate the way it comes out. We get rankings in and I just tabulate the information together, and it is what it is. So if you disagree with the rankings, my suggestion is send us your own rankings, because then you'll actually have input in the next one. But I was taking a look at that list and I was trying to think, you know, what are some of these games that might be on this list that I would love to grab at a deep discount? And so number one for me is Sorrento VR. Now, my boy Erwin X. I've mentioned Erwin X a number of times. He used to be on Reddit like nonstop, and then he got pissed off with something on Reddit, or something happened, and he was just like, the hell with it, I'm not going to Reddit anymore. So you don't see Erwin X on Reddit anymore, and I'm sorry to put him on blast again, but he probably gets a kick out of it anyway. But my boy Erwin X, he is always yapping to me about Sorrento VR this, Sorrento VR that. Sorrento VR is so amazing. I'm pretty sure that Sorrento VR is his number one game, and he just rants and raves about it. And guess what? I have a little secret. I've never ever played Sariento VR. Yes, we do have a review for the game on VR Game Rankings, but I don't do every single review. I do about 90% of them, but there's about 10% that I don't do. Gary was helping me with VR Game Rankings in the beginning, and he reviewed a bunch of games. Steve helped and reviewed a handful of games here or there, and I've had other contributors that have helped and reviewed some games. MameFan actually helped out with the Project Cars 2 review that I just recently updated on the website, because I don't have Project Cars 2 and I'm not really a Project Cars guy. So thanks a lot, MameFan, for helping me out. And so Sariento VR is a game I've never ever played. I've heard so many great things about it, but do you know that the price is $29.99? I believe the price has gone up, actually. I think it was $24.99 for a long time, and then it went up to $29. I don't know if it's ever been at $19, maybe for a short period of time, and then I think it went to $24, and now it's up there at $29. So Sariento VR is kind of one of these premium priced experiences, and this is one of these games that if it saw a deep discount, I would want to jump on it. Now, how deep does it have to go? Well, again, this goes back to the fact that I'm always looking forward. We already have a review for Sariento VR. Even though I didn't do it, we already have a review. So me spending money on a game that came out a long time ago and already has a review, it's just not extremely logical. So for me, honestly, this would have to hit like $9.99, which I know that's probably not going to happen anytime in the near future. Maybe for like the winter Steam sale, when people get really aggressive, or maybe if there's like a flash sale on it or something, but I don't know when that game is going to hit $9.99. So I probably, unfortunately, will not get my hands on Sariento VR. But Mixed Realms, hey, if you guys are watching this and you want to send me a code, by all means, go ahead. I will check your game out, absolutely. Another couple of games that I would consider as well is all the Serious Sam games. You got Serious Sam First Encounter, Serious Sam Second Encounter, Serious Sam The Last Hope, and on our most recent HTC Vive Top 100 rankings, some of the Serious Sam games have jumped up in the charts. The Last Hope kind of fell down a little bit, but I'm interested in all the Serious Sam games, but these things are not cheap. They're pretty pricey as well. Now, I know they have a bundle deal which packages them all together for a certain price, and you save a little bit of money, but it's still a hell of a lot of money. And again, I believe on VR Game Rankings, we actually have reviews for all 3 Serious Sam games. I didn't play any of them. All those reviews were handled by some contributors that helped us out. Also, if you want to be a contributor, if you want to help out and write a review, if you notice that we have a game ranked somewhere on our website that doesn't have a review yet, the reason is probably I don't have the code for that game, or I just can't get around to reviewing it. And if you want to help me out with a review, I could consider it. You know, it's a possibility. I'm not guaranteeing anything, and I want to make sure the reviews are not like written by the devs themselves or like a wild fanboy of the game. I want somebody that can consider the good and the bad side of the game. We do mini reviews at VR Game Rankings. We don't do long reviews. They're mini reviews. It's like a couple of paragraphs of information. We want to touch on some of the best things of the game, some of the worst things of the game, and we give it a number score, kind of like IGN. IGN actually does like 8.8 instead of 88. We do 88. So it's kind of like the old IGN style. But if you might want to review a game that we don't have a review, we do have some potholes on our websites where you'll click on some of the games and you'll be brought to a game profile page that is basically empty, and it says review coming soon, and those are blemishes. I don't like those, and I want to try to correct a lot of that, but I'm just working on so much stuff, and it's just a matter of when I can get to it. But if anybody wants to help out, shoot me a line, drop me a line. It's vrgamerankings@gmail.com, and you might be able to help us out with a review. That would be wonderful, and I'd absolutely look forward to that. So, but the Serious Sam games, we have reviews for those. I've never played them. Now, how much would these things have to drop? Again, it would have to get down to like $10. $10 is kind of like, okay, fuck it. You know, it's like my fuck it price basically, because it's like if I'm going to pay 15 or 20, I'd rather just save that money and put it towards a brand new game that I need a review for, that I didn't get a key for. Like some of the big games, I don't get keys a lot of times for some of the Oculus games, and for some of the bigger games, bigger developers, sometimes they're like, who the hell is VR Game Rankings? And they don't give me a code. And so I kind of have to save my money for some of these bigger ones, because where I really need to have a code, or a game that I'm like super hyped in, and I didn't get a code for whatever reason. So that's part of my problem. So I'm not the average typical consumer when it comes to this. Audio Shield is another game where if that was dirt cheap, I would absolutely want to check it out. A chair in a room. I've never played A Chair in a Room. I believe Steve actually helped me out with the review for A Chair in the Room on the VR Game Rankings website. And I've never played this game. Gary and Steve have both raved about it. They said it's an awesome game, takes great advantage of your room scale, and it uses psychological horror. Obviously, they're working on this new thing, the Exorcist Legion VR, which is supposed to come out near Halloween, and we're getting very close to Halloween, so I don't know when this Exorcist game is going to come out. We might hear about that very soon, but I've never played A Chair in the Room, and I think... is A Chair in a Room $24.99 or $20 or something like that? But again, if this hit $10, I'd go ahead and grab it, because I've just heard so much good things about it. And I would like all these games, I would love to touch them. I would love to play them for a little bit, to have that first-hand experience with them, because when I'm doing my top 20 ranking videos and I have to talk about every game, it really sucks when I'm talking about a game I've never played. I have to kind of just go off what other people have said. I kind of look at the reviews from our contributors, or I'll look at comments on Reddit and stuff, and I just kind of have to pretend like I played that game and I really know what that game is about, but I haven't. And it would be nice if I could play every single thing that ever came down the pipe. That would be nice. It would also be nice if I had a special little button that could just stop time and just pause time, so I could just play the hell out of games and then restart time back up. Oh my God, what I would give for a device that did that. And then the last one I'll mention is Quell 4D. This game was not on the top 100 in last month's HTC Vive ranking, but this game did enter the top 100 on our newest ranking. And this is one that's kind of interesting because, you know, Compound by Bevan McKechnie, he's an indie developer. He's coming out with a game next year called Compound. It kind of looks like an old Doom style game, or a Castle Wolfenstein game from way back in the days. Has this really cool retro style graphic design that looks really cool. There's a really cool demo of it. If you guys have not tried the demo of Compound, you're really missing out, especially if you like retro things. And Quell 4D is available now, and it kind of has that same kind of look and that same kind of vibe to a degree. It's a little different, but it's a similar flavor, and I would love to try Quell 4D. But again, this is something that I would have to see on like a major discount. I'm talking like a 75%. Like most of these games that I just mentioned, they would probably have to be like 70% off for me to jump on it. But again, that's just me being in the situation I am. It's the cult of the new. I'm always moving towards the new stuff, not because I really want to do that, but because I have to do that in this job that I have with VR Game Rankings and covering VR games. Okay, so that's the Steam sale coming this Thursday, so definitely be on the lookout for that, and hopefully we'll have some great values there. And on Thursday, I'll probably talk about that again and see what some of the best values I think are for that Steam sale. The next story we have is I Expect You to Die, which is a very popular game out there. And you know, this is another game I don't have. I didn't do the review for this one either. I Expect You to Die. I've heard so many good things about it. This is another one where if it had a really deep discount, and I actually think this game did have a deep discount. I think it got down to like $5 one time. I should have grabbed it then. But if it hits $5 again, I probably would grab it because I've heard so many good things about this game. And they've just added a brand new DLC, a new case, or a new level called First Class. One of the complaints we had with the original game, like most people love I Expect You to Die. But if there was any complaint about it, some people felt there weren't enough scenarios. Like there's only so many scenarios and then it's over with, and you kind of wish there were more scenarios. So here is a new scenario called First Class. It is releasing today on Oculus, on HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR. So all three major platforms. This game is coming from Shell Games. I forget the guy's name, but it's his first name and then his last name is Shell. That's his company, Shell Games, and he's like this visionary guy. And this is considered a really, really good VR game to check out. So we do have the new DLC for that today. Let's see, what other little story do I have? Okay, Road to VR has a story about how Oculus is going to be doing this dynamic bundle pricing, okay? And this is a really good idea, because how many times have you seen like an indie game bundle or some kind of VR game bundle, and you look at, and there's maybe like 7 games in the bundle, but you already own 2 or 3 of them. So it doesn't make a ton of sense. Now, in some of these bundles, you can buy them anyway, and you get individual codes for each game. So if you already own 2 or 3 of those games, I guess you could just give your buddy a code or give a friend a code or something like that, and that's cool. You know, that's definitely cool. But there's some other bundles where you don't get a code like that. You just get all the games, and if you've already got some of those games, it kind of makes it a bad deal. Well, Oculus, with their new home update that's going to be coming out, they're going to probably change the store. A lot of things are going to be changed, and so with this update, they're going to have this dynamic bundle capability. So what will happen is, if you're interested in one of these bundles, the system is going to look at your game library, and it's going to know that you already own The Climb, or you already own Unspoken, or whatever game it is, and it's going to take whatever the cost is of that game within that bundle. It'll take that out of the cost of the bundle, and you probably won't get the game again because you don't need the game again, and so you're going to get a lower bundle price. So I think this is a great idea. It's a way for people to be interested in some of these bundles where they might already have half of the games that are in the bundle, but they're still super interested in the other half. So it could be a great way to still get some great discounts on some games. So that's going to be, I believe Oculus has kind of like a beta version that you can get where this might come a little sooner to the beta version. And then I think this whole thing is kind of going wide in December, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get a sip of water here. Hold on a sec. I needed that. Absolutely needed that. Oh, you know, I had a, let me talk about like editing and making the daily vlog a fancier thing, you know, putting like a little picture of the games I'm talking about, and adding some more production value to these daily vlogs, because somebody commented on this in one of my more recent episodes and said it'd be really cool if I could add, you know, pictures of whatever I'm talking about, or have some graphics come in. And I have some ideas for that. Here's the problem though. The problem is I record the daily vlog, okay? Then I have to throw it into this one video editor, which takes a little while. It has to load into the video editor. And all I do is I snip the very front of it and I snip the very end of it, so that any little pre-show, like the minute before I actually really start, and then like at the ending, you know, just snipping the beginning and the ending. That's all I do. I render that takes a little bit of time. Then I upload it to YouTube, and that takes quite a bit of time. It uploads and then it processes, and then the show actually goes live. And so there's kind of a delay in all of this. It takes a while. Now, if I were to add the idea that I'm going to add all these like special features of editing and stuff like that, it would take so long. And then here again, I work for VR Game Rankings. The YouTube side of things is not going to be paying bills for me really, where VR Game Rankings could. YouTube, hopefully maybe it'll help out at some point, but it might be a while before that happens. So really my focus really is VR Game Rankings, the website. I like doing these daily vlogs. I think it's a good idea. It gives this channel some decent content, and so I'm going to keep banging these out. But the only way I'm going to be able to add like a lot of video production to this stuff is if I had a video guy that was working for VR Game Rankings, where what would happen is maybe what I would try to do is I would try to record these vlogs maybe an hour earlier than normal, and I would try to upload the video to Google Drive or something. He would grab that video and then he would begin screwing around and adding stuff like that while I can be working on other things, because I just don't have time to dedicate to that. So that's why all you're basically seeing here is a widescreen view of me, and you're seeing me talk on the mic, but there's no special effects. There's no little extra things. And then me drinking that water there, unfortunately, that is on camera. So I just want to let you guys know that's why there's not any special high-end editing. Now, if you are interested in, maybe if you're a video editor person and you are absolutely obsessed with VR gaming, and you can also maybe write some articles and stuff, and you want to join the VR Game Rankings team, drop me a line, vrgamerankings@gmail.com, because I have no problem with having this daily vlog look a lot more professional and have a lot better editing and have little things added to it and all kinds of stuff. But it's not going to happen from me because I just don't have the time. So this is what you're going to get from it. So hopefully that's that. Okay, so let's get into topic number 4. Topic number 4 is Job Simulator. Okay, so Job Simulator is back in the news. It's in the news for 2 primary reasons. Number 1, it's getting a permanent price drop to $20, $19.99 for Job Simulator, and I'm assuming that this will be the case on PlayStation VR, Oculus, Steam, across the board. $19.99 for Job Simulator, which is a great price for a very solid game. I know Steve from VR Roundtable has never been the biggest fan of Job Simulator. I've always liked it. I love the comedy. I love the interaction. Honestly, I don't know of another VR game that lets you manipulate more things with your hands and screw around with things with your hands than Job Simulator. And that is a beautiful thing. Obviously, the Rick and Morty is a very similar thing. Now, Rick and Morty, I believe, is $29.99, and I honestly feel that Job Simulator actually has considerably more content, I think, than Rick and Morty, and it's probably a better deal, unless you're just like a hardcore Rick and Morty fan, where that would just appeal to you that much more. But Job Simulator for $20 is a pretty solid deal. And then what they've added too is kind of a DLC has been added as well. We got the DLC for I Expect You to Die with First Class. Well, Job Simulator is adding an infinite overtime mode that they're bringing to the game. And what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to do some randomized tasks just endlessly forever. And it's kind of this overtime thing. It's kind of the night shift. And one of the cool things about it, I haven't checked it out yet, but I do want to go in there and check it out because I love the comedy, really, of Job Simulator. There's just a comedy factor. Job Bot is hilarious. The other little bots that are zooming around. There's something about that game that just speaks to me. I kind of really like Job Simulator. And so, you know how you normally deal with Job Bot in the regular game? Well, in the overtime endless mode, you're actually going to be dealing with Temp Bot. And Temp Bot is kind of the lazier, more unfocused, less motivated supervisors, and he's going to be your guy for this overtime mode. And that's what I want to go in and I want to check out. Now, the way I understand it, you have to completely finish the regular game to be able to then get into this this overtime mode. And I want to see what it's like. I want to see how funny TempBot is, and I just want to see, supposedly there's like an endless stream of customers. So, working at the AM/PM, working at the gas station basically, with just tons of customers coming in, and then I'm guessing it's going to be like nighttime outside, and so you'll probably get like some weirdo customers coming in late at night. They're good with the comedy and all that sort of thing. So I think that's going to be fun, and so I definitely want to check out this Job Simulator. Hopefully I can remember to check this out today, and then maybe I could comment on it in tomorrow's show, but we'll have to see how that works out. Okay, my last real story for the day, and I kind of talked about Pimax yesterday, and I went on this rant, and it was all about Knuckles. And one thing I mentioned is the Pimax Kickstarter has passed the $2 million mark, and I said I would have more on that later, and I didn't get back to it. But what I wanted to talk about this is, okay, so Pimax has passed the 2 million mark, and they're in the news again because they've added stretch goals for 2.5 million. Okay, and then there's also stretch goals for 3 million. And I had this opened up in something, but now let me see. I can't find it right now. Okay, so the stretch goals for 3 million is supposedly they're going to add eye tracking. Now, the stretch goals for 2.5 million is it's almost like their own version of Viveport and a couple of other little things. Nothing that really jumped out to me as being major. But the real thing that I want to talk about with Pimax Kickstarter pushing past this mark is I feel like this is something of a problem for like LG and for other companies that have more what I consider legitimate headsets that are going to be coming next year. Now, not that Pimax isn't legitimate, but Pimax, let's be honest, Pimax looks a little bit sketchy. That they're kind of just throwing everything at the wall and kind of seeing what sticks. I don't know that I have a ton of faith in Pimax, to be completely honest with you. You know, I'm sure they're going to deliver a product. I'm sure it's going to have a lot higher resolution. I'm sure it's going to have some major benefits. But I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of jank and a lot of issues that come along with it because they seem to be a little bit unorganized. You know, that one guy that was on Tested didn't speak, I mean, not the fact that he didn't speak English, but why didn't they get somebody that really does speak English so we could have a better question and answer session? It just seems like they're kind of going by the seat of their pants and they're kind of just throwing everything at the wall and just hoping things will work out. And it's worked out great for them. They've hit past the 2 million mark. But one of my worries is all this money that is being thrown at Pimax, this is money that cannot go to LG. It can't go to whoever else might have a headset that's coming next year. I'm talking about the headsets. We know there's going to be headsets that are going to come with the new Steam 2.0 official base stations. We know that's going to happen. We know there's going to be headsets eventually that come with Knuckles in the box. We know that there's going to be improved headsets that are going to have higher resolution. Gabe talked about this when they had that open discussion when they were sitting at the table and they were talking about all kinds of things. Gabe talked about how there would be baked in wireless from the get-go and that this stuff was coming in 2018. I'm absolutely certain that Gabe knows of additional headsets that we don't know about, and a lot of these headsets are probably going to come out, or they're going to be announced probably very early in 2018, and some of these headsets are going to start leaking out, the first of which is probably the LG. If you're LG, you can't be too happy about this Pimax thing, because all the people that threw money into this Pimax thing, these are your early adopters. These are the guys that you need. These are the guys that want an upgrade. They're desperate for an upgrade. And now they've just thrown a pretty good chunk of money at this Pimax thing. And so their money is stuck in the Pimax situation. And so say come January or February when some of these other new headsets are announced, that's their money's tied up. Their money's tied up in Pimax. So they're not going to be an early adopter of the LG Ultra Gear or what else could possibly come out very early in 2018. We might see some stuff at the Winter Consumer Electronics Show. I've always kind of thought in the back of my mind that Samsung is going to have a major Steam VR headset. Now, I know we have the Samsung Odyssey and it's coming in November, and that's the Windows mixed reality. But there's no law that says they can't also be working with Valve and have a killer Steam VR headset they're going to unveil, possibly at the January CES. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of other companies out there that can jump into this game. So I'm looking forward to that. And everybody throwing all this money into Pimax, it's great for Pimax. And the one good part of this whole thing is disruption. I'm a fan of disruption. I liked the Windows mixed reality headsets coming in. Unfortunately, it wasn't as disruptive as I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd have Forza 7 VR. I thought we'd have Super Lucky's Tale VR. I thought we'd have some other hidden exclusives. Microsoft working with certain companies and having some exclusives. I thought we were going to have a fourth platform that was going to be a lot more disruptive. Doesn't really seem to be the case. And honestly, a lot of these mixed reality headsets with the IPD problems, with how flimsy and a lot of these Steam VR headsets are not really a major threat to the status quo. So we're not really getting the disruption I was hoping for from that. Now, Pimax is a disruptor, and that is good. I like the disruption because what it does is it kind of slaps the face of Oculus, it slaps the face of HTC, it slaps the face of Steam and says, hey, wake the hell up. You better start doing something because otherwise somebody's going to come along and they're going to eat your lunch. Now, I know Pimax isn't going to eat anybody's lunch, but it's still a wake-up call. And so that is good news. The bad news, though, is, man, any of the new headsets that are coming early in 2018, they're going to face a tougher road to hoe with all of this money having been thrown into Pimax. People don't have endless sources of money. At least most people don't. Now, there's people like me, Steve and Gary, all three of us, and Chris, all of us on the VR Roundtable podcast, none of us have kickstarted Pimax. As far as I know, none of us are getting the Pimax, or at least we're taking a wait and see approach. We're going to let Pimax, let these things actually come out, let them hit the wide market, and let everybody find out what's good and what's bad about these headsets. And we're going to let that happen before we decide to jump on it. But none of us have kickstarted it. None of us had done that. And so the good news is if we decide we want an LG, because I'm considering the LG potentially, because right now, one of the things that I'm actually doing is I'm trying to part out my existing Vive headset piece by piece, get as much money for it. I need a new Lighthouse, and rather than buying a new Lighthouse, I kind of want Lighthouse 2.0. I want new controllers. I just want a whole new thing, and so my Oculus Rift is covering me well enough, so I'm kind of parting out my HTC Vive pieces and trying to get whatever I can get for that. But the thing about it is I could be in the market for a brand new Steam VR headset. In fact, I will be in the market for a Steam VR headset. And so there's still people like me that'll jump on, but man, so many people jumped on this Pimax. They're now out of the equation, really. Okay, they're out of the equation, and that could have somewhat negative ramifications for the newest headsets that get announced early next year, or maybe even a little bit later this year as well. So we'll have to see how all of that plays out. Okay, guys, I hit the 30-minute mark. I know that this wasn't the most exciting episode. We didn't have the most exciting news. I wanted to talk a little bit about Heart of Emberstone. I've been playing more of that. But you know what? We can save that for tomorrow. I'll play some more of it today, and I'll try to get back into the Talos Principle, hopefully have some more thoughts about that. I also want to talk a little bit about the Invisible Hours on PlayStation VR. I really love the Invisible Hours, but I've been having problems with the game where I'll put it on, the audio cuts out, the picture cuts out, I have to turn my whole PSVR off and turn it back on again. I'm not sure what's going on there. So maybe it's just something screwy with my personal PSVR, but I want to get back into that, and because I need to review these games. I need to review all of them. But my take on reviews is, like, people might wonder, dude, Anthony, what are you doing? You don't have a review for Talos Principle yet? You don't have a review for Heart of Emberstone yet? What the hell are you doing? Why don't you have reviews for this game? You don't have a review for Oregon Quarter yet? No, I don't have reviews yet. And the reason why is I want to feel like I know a game, okay? Like, I'm not going to play 2 levels of a game and review it. I got to feel like I know the game. I got to feel like I have a take on the game, like I really have a feel for the game, and then I review it. So unfortunately, sometimes my reviews are just going to be later because a lot of times I don't get these games in advance. I'll get them on the release day or maybe a couple days after the release day, and then I'm playing so many different games simultaneously that I get a little taste of this, a little taste of that, a little taste of this, a little taste of that. But if you're a hardcore reviewer, like, you would get Heart of Emberstone and you would just spend 7-8 hours in a row just banging away at Heart of the Emberstone and just finish the whole entire thing and review it. I don't really have that luxury because I'm still running a website. I'm still doing these daily vlogs. I got to keep track of other things that are going on in the background, little issues that don't even come up to the surface. So it's very difficult for me to just pour so many hours just straight into one game. It's not an easy thing for me to do, but I am going to get back at Heart of the Emberstone. I want to get back at Talos Principle, and I want to get back into the Invisible Hours because I want to review all 3 of those games. So I might have some additional thoughts on that tomorrow. But anyway, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. That's going to wrap it up for episode 17 of our daily vlog series. This is, of course, is Tuesday, October 24th, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.